Well, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Zwift Live broadcast of the Zwift Racing League, presented by WTRL. 2021-22 year season one, the last race in the season here. Before we hit the playoffs, there's been a lot on the line all day long. We've seen some winners and losers when it comes to that second spot. Two teams out of each one of the divisions. Besides some of the smaller divisions, we'll just get one. But most of the divisions throughout all of the world will be putting two teams into the playoffs next week. But we still got this race number 8. Nathan Guerra here. Dave Towle next to me. And it's been a party all day long with team tactics, bike swaps, failures, successes. Lots of excitement out here today, Dave.
Yeah, this course is absolutely awesome, really exciting, and the team's dynamic today has been tremendous. Now, as you said, Nathan, we have seen a couple of races where teams have been basically tied heading into this 8th race. You have to remember the community even goes above and beyond what Premier League does, as far as this is 8 versus 6 races, and then we've got the playoffs to look forward to. That's coming up on the 23rd of November and December 4th. This is the situation that we have here, as Riot has been dominant, but I don't know. That's a good question, Nathan. Can you decline a playoff spot? We'll have to ask Martin about that. I guess you can. But
we just ask him right now. We could just say, Martin. Hey, Martin, is that a possibility?
Riot,
we have Martin
decline
from director of WTRL. Martin, can you confirm?
I guess the question is, if Riot says we're going to pass on the playoffs, does that allow 2 other teams to go, or does that spot just evaporate and only one team goes? So can they throw a bone here to Cryogen, Gallop, and Martin?
He's letting us know here.
All right, quickly. So let me run down what we've got as Dutch Diesel Cycling. And actually, Nathan, I finally know, because thank you to Rebecca Larson, what Dutch Diesel is all about. So we'll get into that during the race today. But Dutch Diesel Cycling Atomic Spice sitting on 130 points in second, Crowdgen Gallop, and just 1 point behind them. So here we go, Nathan, another classic scenario. Although it's not impossible that Riot could see all of their hard work go to waste as far as winning the season. They're in pretty good shape today, and it even makes it better for them knowing that Dutch Diesel and Crowdgen are going to be fighting for a spot in the playoffs. ATP Racing Stingers in with 122 for 4th, Plush FA in 5th with 97. Incredibly close here as well as Aggo Wattage with 95 points sitting in 6th, Cour AF at 93 in 7th, Sisu Du sitting in 8th. They're tied, though, with Inside Out, and then Royal City Cycling WA1 rounds out our top 10 here in the women's A's for Division 1 out of the East of America.
All right, so it's actually the top 3 for the women's. Top 3 for the women's, for what I'm seeing, because there are fewer women's teams in order to fill up the playoffs from what I am seeing here. So it does look like Cryogen, Dutch Diesel, and Riot, but it does not pass along if it is declined. It does not pass along if it is declined. So that's the situation. That's just on the women's side of things. That's the information I'm getting right now. On the men's side of things, let's go ahead and take a quick look at that for what we'll be covering here. The women are about to hit their sprint in just a moment here, so we'll do this real quickly. Velocio dominating, as Velocio do. Next is there, and then it's going to be Royal City Cycling. I don't know if we've got too much of a battle on our hands here. Plus, A1 Dirt Alert, Restart, Velocio Trail Mesh, followed up by ATP Racing Hydrogen, HTFU, and then Next Phase. That's the situation currently. The battle out there today for the men's field is most likely more for bragging rights and not for the playoff spots. They're going to be taken off in about 4 minutes from now. But the women's side of things are about to hit their first sprint.
Yeah, this has been one of the best battles that we've seen in the history of ZRL going on between Velocio and Next Level. So it's going to be really fun for have their last crack at each other out here today. But let's jump in with the women now. Good looking group here as they head into sprint number 1, and it comes up quickly, as you said, Nathan. I think just inside of 7K. So we'll see riders flying off the front of this group any moment. Now, there's a name to watch, the aforementioned Rebecca Larson. As Rebecca has been, I would say, along with Christina Grossman, the 2 featured or premier sprinters out of this division.
Yeah, and speaking of it, here comes Crush It off the front now. Dobson, now, it looks like Dobbs followed by Gagne. No, but here comes Christina Grossman from the Riot team on that Tron bike. Looking to come over the top, but I think Larson, no, it's actually going to be DDC. Grossman and Gagnon, I think, held off Larson for a fourth place. We'll have to wait for this preems to come on through here, but crush it. Absolutely demolishing that sprint. She got the jump on everybody. That may be a little bit of the new drafting algorithm, as well as it was very hard for those Riot riders to get around the rest of the field there as they were coming on through. And because you have to kind of push past avatars now, if you're not locked onto that wheel second or third, you might find yourself in a battle just to get ahead of a rider next to you. So I think, Crush It here got a little bit of a jump on the field there.
Yeah, well, and it's really interesting when you break it down. These points have turned out to be absolutely critical in the final tally of the day. As a matter of fact, how many times, Nathan, have we spoken about every rider matters? And as we watched the points come in at the end of the race, it was like watching an election, wasn't it? As it would go back and forth, and ultimately, I believe it was something like the 26th place rider and those 25th place rider, and those points were the difference. This is Megan Rathwell of the Riot team. To be fair, Dutch Diesel Cycling, Riot, these are teams that operate at a very, very high level. This is the Premier League standard, to tell you the truth. So Megan Rathwell's always a rider to watch out here, and she's given them a good look at her rear wheel right now. She's chosen the Tron bike. A lot of talks about bike, gravel, road, Tron. It seems to me like Tron might be the answer if you've got access to one, but if not, looks like a gravel bike. But from everything that we saw earlier today, changing bikes is a fool's errand.
Yeah, and we do see Rathwell here doing, I think, if we try and get into the head of the DS of Team Riot, they've probably had a lot of conversations prior to this about how to take this down. And I was hinting this morning during the APAC stream about what, a little bit, like, we're not going to give too much away. It seemed like it was fairly complicated, whatever she had going on the whiteboard there. But if we look at the bike choices, I think it's going to give us a good idea, though, about what the tactics are for each one of the riders out here. Rathwell, it looks like, being such a strong climber, I'm getting the feeling that she's maybe doing this Tron setup in order to put the pressure on the rest of the riders out here today and make them make a chase. Some of the other riders, though, like Fiona, I think, has shown up on a gravel bike. So this is a setup situation, in my opinion. I might be giving away too much here, but if I look at what's happening here, I see a couple of riders on the Grail. With that being said, Rathwell off the front on a Tron bike is either going for a bike swap or putting the pressure on just to make some of these other gravel riders fall off the pace and then allow the counter to come from the other Riot riders who they are really putting their chips in the basket for.
What would possibly be the point in making a bike swap off of all the effort for what?
The bike swap there to force these other riders to chase at this moment. And if she has the gap,
not
make the swap. If you don't have the gap, don't make the swap.
Complete waste of time. Complete waste of time. If there's absolutely no reason to be doing that stuff. Focus on the racing. That's just overthinking things, in my opinion. And that's not what she's going back to the group here. So I just can't imagine doing a bike change here because she'll immediately have to start chasing again.
Yeah, I mean, depending on where things are at as far as the time gap. If the time gap doesn't happen, she's done the right job because at this point, she's forced 4 watts per kilogram, 4.5 watts per kilogram out of that group behind, especially for those who are sitting on
herself. But she'll have burnt more energy herself. They're working together as a group. She's alone. So what was the net gain for her?
Well, from what I'm seeing, it's going to be forcing some of these other riders who are on gravel bikes to be pushing higher watts per kilogram than they would otherwise.
If her team is planning on counterattacking right now, it would make sense. But otherwise, I'm not following that, I guess, is my
sounds like Dave's got a whiteboard, Anna. She's challenging something I might be pulling out. Well, maybe I got it totally wrong. I might have it completely wrong here. But Rathwell.
Well, no, every director has their game plan for sure, but other directors have their plans too. And this is a strong group. So the effort required to drop this group, get the gap, change the bike, get back into this field. I'm just not feeling it, I guess.
Oh, gotcha. She's just saying she's not going for a bike swap. Yeah, I'm 100% with you there. She might not be going for a bike swap. That was just a guess. The idea here, though, is that
you thought she was
no.
Going
I
for
said
a
there
bike
was
swap,
two. I said there was two separate
options.
Two separate options here. Get a gap. Go with the Tron. The Tron seems strong enough for Emily Watts there. Rathwell's an amazing climber. She might be able to do something with it if she.
Watts stayed on the Tron the whole race, didn't she? She didn't swap.
She stayed on it the whole race. Yeah, exactly. I said there were two options that she could be going for. Megan Rathwell could be going for get a 20-second gap, maybe do a bike swap. I don't think she's going to be doing that until the third lap, actually. It's really stupid, actually, in my opinion, the first two laps to do a bike swap. Be on the Tron, get the gap, force the rest of them to chase this down, and then see what happens from that point. It all depends on whether or not you get the gap.
We're in agreement.
We are in agreement, 100%.
Because I would have thought that this was really stupid to do a bike swap on lap 1 too. It's just not
100%.
Worth it. There's just I just don't see the game. We're all back together now, however, so we can look. I'm wondering, do we pronounce this last name Champagne or Champagne? This is Natalie, the Canadian that I'm seeing here, one of the AGA wattage riders. She's had a strong season here. So while we're trying to figure that out, Dutch Diesel, Nathan. So it is a train. That was all correct. But it's also the nickname of Rebecca Larson's coach. Dutch Diesel Cycling, I guess like Josh Lipka. He's a cycling coach. Rebecca Larson is now living in Norman, Oklahoma. I talked about her being from Florida. But she's a professor at University of Oklahoma, along with her husband, Dan.
Yeah, and we also have Cassandra Rush is who Crush It is. I definitely wanted to highlight that. I just like calling her Crush It because it's a lot of fun that she puts that name in there. Cassandra Rush taking
it works out well.
First sprint, just for everybody to know. I am seeing Kristen Kolchinski hanging out in chat and Josh Lipka as well, cheering on their good friend Christina Grossman. Very, very solid win.
Gosh.
First win of her ZRL ever yesterday. Congratulations to Christian on that as well. It was absolute dominations, and she's very, very happy, it looked like, to take that down. Now to the front, though, as they cheer on her good friend Christina. Is Christina able to hang on here, being more of a sprinter? I'm not sure she's going to be involved still toward the front end of this race. She is able to hang on, it looks like. What's the bike choice today? It's going to be on the Tron, and that seems to be working out for a lot of these riders who are just looking to hang on and chase things back down on the other side of this climb.
As we mentioned earlier in the day, the first race of the day that we were talking about, Anna Russell, she watched a Tron bike win. And that certainly has to have an impact. Talking about Krista Kolchinski, she was one of the few riders that raced all day on a gravel bike yesterday in Premier. That was a huge win. That really was. She's one of the few riders that's contested all 30 of the Premier League ZRLs, and that the 30th was the magic one, that's for sure. Look at this charge coming. That's going to be ATP setting up pretty well right now near the front. A lot of Dutch Diesel here as well, Nathan. This is a tough sector that they're on. We should talk quickly about the power-ups that we've got available here today, because there's one that you don't see often. That's the steamroller. As a matter of fact, there you go, right on cue. You can see that steamroller being used. It is effective. No doubt about it. It basically, or not basically, the way to look at it is no matter what bike or surface you're on, when you deploy the steamroller power up, it puts you into the equivalent of being on a road bike on tarmac, which is obviously much, much less rolling resistance than what you've got here on gravel. So this is going to be Rathwell, the aforementioned Riot rider, still up near the front. And her work has certainly put some riders in trouble, Nathan. You can see that this group, much like every race we've seen today, only about 15 to 20 riders in general survive through this first trip.
She's doing this on a Tron bike, too. That's absolutely amazing to see. I got to jump over real quickly. The first sprint here coming in from the men's race as they do make their way through here. It is going to be toward the front. It looks like Wetmore set on here. 15 watts per kilogram, actually. Here it is, Moron. Now, followed up by Get Zwifty to the line coming from next team. It looks like Get Zwifty is going to make that. Oh, no. Haig over the top. From the Dirt Alert, ATP coming on through for third. That's the situation here in the men's race as they take those top 3 points all the way through. Velocio not dominating that sprint, but maybe waiting for a counterattack. It's mainly gravel bikes, it looks like, coming from the Velocio team. Back in with the ladies' race. We'll jump back in with the boys in just a moment as they get into the climb. But we do see Rachel Lieberman doing what Rachel Lieberman's good at. She's a solid TT rider and just hammering away on this grail right now. And that's the way to do it, especially with a rider like Rathwell in tow. I have a feeling Rathwell perhaps going to try and stay on that Tron bike all the way through, perhaps, until maybe the final lap. I'm still going to hold on to that. Anna talked a lot about bike swaps all morning long. She was really, really pushing for it. But then once the Tron bike won, she changed up to being her favorite bike. I'm not sold yet that Rathwell isn't just hanging on and looking to make things easy on the lower slopes and then waiting for a final lap attack, see what the gap is at, and then make a choice. She may be holding on to a lot of steamrollers. I'm going to watch and see if she uses one all the way through. Lieberman, though, making things really difficult. Larson, Alana Brady, Rathwell, Laura there from Agawatt. It's going to be Remy in as well. Kinsey here. Really a breakthrough rider you've been talking a lot about this year, Dave.
Yeah, no doubt. Going back to the bike swap thing, I would imagine every other team would love to see her try it too.
Yeah, good point. Good point. That's actually really.
It might
She's
be
actually using that. From what you can see here, that steamroller. This is a great way to put some pressure on in this final 30 seconds. The timing is absolutely perfect, as you can see, and getting into the downhill
knows
though.
What she's doing.
On these with these chases, with the group chasing her, but at least she's going to put some pressure on here. And maybe drop a rider or two. I think she notices that the Agawatt rider here, as well as Kinsey Remian, is off the back. So that's really what's happening. Forcing these 4 or 3 riders to chase her is going to open that gap up even more. We'll see if they try and come across and open the gap up to Laura as well as Remian, because that will make a smaller whittled down group for Rathwell to have to deal with later.
Yeah, you could see the advantage that she took by deploying that steamroller. Talking about Megan Rathwell, the Riot team here, is she really, I mean, it just kind of squirts her right off of the front here, where she's now back. She spent a lot of time off of the front out here today. It's in a select group right behind her. Rachel Lieberman out of Seattle, Rebecca Larson out of Oklahoma, Kelsey Remian here, who, you're right, Nathan, she is a breakthrough rider this year. Taking
Brady
a look,
over the
though,
top.
This should be Alana Brady now we're going to be coming up pretty quickly on this QOM, and there's 5 points for the first woman over the line, and it's going to be Alana Brady of the Cryo RDT team. So Alana Brady timing that one very, very nicely. She'll collect 5 points. Let's see if Lieberman does, and Rachel comes through for 3, leaving just a smattering of points remaining. Megan Rathwell should get 2 points, or did Larson get by her in time?
I think
So
Rathwell
it might have been Larson.
just snipped them, perhaps. We'll have to take a look at the preems when they do come through. I think she did. Now, the question is, will Rathwell be able to hang on here? Is she going to hold up for any of the chasers who are on road bikes? Remian here now, also on a road bike. She might be able to get together with Rathwell and work on the downhill, depending on how far out. We have seen up to about 30 to 40 seconds come back on larger groups. Laura here from Agawatt on the Grail, also getting dropped on sections that really should not be too much of a difficulty. So it's just going to be Remian and Rathwell that actually have road bikes for the down.
Laura is going to be Laura Perry. Laura Perry also races for Roca Corba, I see here. But today, obviously, with the Agawattage. This is going to be Kelsey Remian that we're with now, the ATP rider, honey powered. Let's see what we've got there. I don't know that there's going to be much of a group anywhere out on course here in the next 5 minutes or so. It's going to be a brutal, brutal day out here. 43 total kilometers of racing, 2.6 laps on this circuit. And it's really who can put together the best 3 5-minute power efforts. It's very rare that you see more climbing than descending in any race. Having a summit finish is a real treat for a lot of riders. So Lieberman right now. So Lieberman, Larson, Rathwell, Brady, these are the riders that have been making the race up till this point. Larson already with 43 points here, as we get a good look at the running total right now. Remian for Agawad is with 26, Brady at 25. ML, I believe that's cryogen rider Molly L. And that's as far as we're going to get with a name for Molly.
Look at the effort from Rathwell. She was off the back by quite a few seconds here at this point. Gets back on terms, actually, with Alana Brady and Rebecca Larson on the Tron bike on a downhill section at 52, 53 kilometers per hour. This is a huge effort here coming from Rathwell on that Tron bike. Lieberman going to be getting caught, even though she is on this Grail, because these chasers are with her. And Rathwell's just going to get a free ride to the tarmac, it looks like.
Yeah, well, it's so early in the race as well, right? That I don't think Lieberman had any plans of going solo from here. So everybody going to regroup now. This is the Tête de la Course, the front of the bike race, and it's a
well. The reason Lieberman was picked up by 2020 is because she is a TT rider, though. So when she was on 2020 and then left 2020, went to ATP, if there is any rider, it'd be like her, Van Houweling, like these women who have that, they're just pure TT riders. I think she wants to get away. I think she I'll settle down and say no more because they're going to bring me back, it looks like. But I think these little pushes are advances to see what she can do. Now, the reality, though, of this, you get some hope in your mind. That's, at least for me as a racer, I'm looking at this going, that looks like a little bit of hope, especially with Grails chasing and only Rathwell on a Tron. Maybe Rathwell come across to her and sit on her wheel, and then they work together in kind of a Kolchinsky / Schumann that we saw yesterday's situation. I think Lieberman was trying to create that, perhaps. Schalau, excuse me. Yeah,
Julia Schalau, yeah. Well, patience. We've talked a lot about that yesterday. And if you want to win this race, I would say patience will be key here. Stay in this group. Use this group as much as you can. You got a long way to go here. Attacking solo with 30K remaining with these strong women, it's tough.
It would be a tough day. It would be a tough day. We do have a couple of chasers here behind. It does look like Laura here, Perry, along with Kelsey Remnian. It's going to be M there from the Cryogen. That's Molly L. See if we can get more of a name there over on Zwift Power from Molly. On the men's side of things, as they are heading onto the uphill and the dirt section, let's see what's taking place over here as we're in with the top 30 or so riders. Attacks are going off the front here. It looks like next level. Making some move. Kevin Bouchard Hall there now with D. St. John
back.
Also.
Ashton Lambie is racing with us here today. You can see KBH.
He's at the front of the climb. Ashton Lambie is pressing the pace.
This isn't one of the best American racers of his generation. This is one of the greatest racers of all time. When you talk about Ashton, did Ashton just pull the pin right as I was talking about him?
May have just pulled the pin. Yep, yeah, as Uberti now.
Either way,
I think he gave a lead out for Uberti, and then Uberti came over the top, perhaps. Or no, excuse me. Maybe is that what happened there? It looks like I think he was really pressing the pace and then just pulled the pin and allowed the rest of the team to continue on as Bouchard Hall sits in amongst a whole lot of green. That's for sure.
I love that. Ashton Lambie's mindset is so old school. He's more than happy to be a domestique and play a role for a team after he just sets the world record and wins the world championship in the pursuit. That's just a good egg. That's for sure. This is going to be restart now as St. John moving forward here. This is going to be interesting now as they've got some points coming up. Now, not as many points at the KOM as you see at the sprint line here, but these guys are going to be hungry for all the points that they can get. It looks like KBH is very, very well suited. This is Kevin Bouchard Hall that we're talking about of the Velocio team. As you can see, Nixon here from Royal City, but that is Kevin in the yellow jersey. I think he's timed this pretty well as that arch comes up pretty quickly here.
Take a look here real quick. I do think they have about a K and a half to go, a little less than that, maybe a K to go to the top here at this point. Next now coming over the top, 6.6 watts per kilogram. I think we got one more solid punch right about here as they head through these mists. I was told by Anna when you're riding through these mists that you can't really see the riders ahead of you that well. They kind of disappear a little bit, which is really makes things really interesting. Where'd that wheel go? Where's the rider around you as they're going to hit this next bridge? And it is going to be under a K to go. And they're going to have a right-hand turn followed by a left, a little bit of a bend, and then a straightaway into here. But really, it's going to be sitting third or fourth wheel, I think, is what you're going to be able to pull off. It's going to be Jay Jacob here leading out the rest of the next team. Bashard Hall sitting really well in that third wheel, though, on that Canyon Grail. 8 watts per kilogram, orange numbers. He's got a feather power up into that 9% gradient now. 8% gradient really kicks up. A little bit of downhill now. Speed gain. 35 kilometers per hour, and he's got a gap here. Will Kevin hold on to it? We've got a steamroller from Gumbo, and now next I think are going to challenge with that steamroller.
Yeah, Kevin using that feather perfectly. Now he gets on top of a big gear here as he's absolutely pushing to collect the 5 points waiting there at the line. It certainly looks like now, I think this is Jonathan Jacob, the next rider here who's going to use the draft power-up. The other, we've actually seen them all
almost
here.
Almost nipped it at the line. That was close. That was pretty close here. It looks like next are going to go 1, 3, and 4. Bashard Hall end up in the middle of it all with second place. Velocity they're also in fifth, but there's only the 5. Is only the 4, correct, Dave?
Yeah, it scores 4 deep. 5 points for the first, 3 for second, 2 for third, and 1 point for the fourth rider over the line. Boy, this is pretty classic right now. That screenshot there, even better with restart coming flying into it. ATP, these have been the teams that have really made the racing. That's going to be Kieran Lewis, it looks like, coming in, racing out of Australia here.
Look at this group come flying over the top right now. I mean, this is going to get shut down really so combative. Quickly. And that's the reality of this East division is there's so much talent here. It's really difficult to get things away. It'll get chased down so quickly. Look at all the Velocio jerseys here with McCarthy. And as we're seeing, Bashard Hall is still in there. Royal City is here. ATP still represented. Plush just a little bit off the back. I think they're going to get back on terms.
Kyle Boersma has been a name to note this year. The Royal City cycling rider, the Canadian. Andrew Nixon, his teammate as well, doing a really good job. They're in that yellow and black jersey for golf, the Royal City. This is your major selection, no doubt, Nathan. I can't give much hope for anybody not in this group to rejoin at this point. Once they hit this downhill, they're gone. So here's your new bike race.
Oh, thanks a lot, Michael. A little bit of correction. That was on my my mistake there because it goes 10 deep. In the community league, and I was remembering watching PD yesterday, and so that would be my mistake actually.
Well, no, that's incorrect.
Is it incorrect?
It goes, yeah. So there's 10 points for the winner of the sprints, first across the line. There's 5 points for the winner of the KOMs, and it doesn't score as deep. Martin can chime in if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure I'm not. So you get 10 points for the sprint win,
8, 7,
5
6,
points.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm hearing from Martin on the community, and it's 4 in Premier, I believe.
For KOM.
For the KOM, it goes 10. It looks
I
like
apologize.
It goes 10 deep. That's okay.
Thank you.
That's fine.
My bad.
Michael helping us out there, and Martin chiming in for us. That's what they're there for. That's what chat's there for. They're the ones that make sure that we say everything correctly. You know, Veritas instead of Veritas. Michael Flanagan for the points. You know, that's really, really appreciated. Look at this. What is going on here? This is a Grail. John, what are you up to here, buddy? What is this guy just continues to go to the front and just demolish the field, but he's on this Grail. And is there anybody behind him on a road bike is what I want to know.
I don't think that's a Grail. I think that's a road bike.
Oh, you're right. You're right. It's not a Grail, but it might be the it's the Cervelo.
That's the Cervelo.
Yeah, it's Cervelo.
Right. That is Derek St. John in the green jersey that we're looking at here. There are some real differences between community racing and Premier. That's for sure. Well, we just identified one of them, but the length of the season. This is the 8th race for our community riders versus the Premier wrapped up after 6, and we've got our playoffs to look forward to. Well, here's a new points total for you. Kevin Bouchard Hall now. Yeah.
Killing it there, it looks like. 37, Jack Haig 30, Wetmore 29, Jacob with 24, it looks like. Look at the jerseys, Dave. Next in the top 10 with 4, but with Velocio with 3 there, I think they may be challenging for a few more points because next are mainly on the back end of this race.
And so, I mean, this has been such a great season. Tony Gumbel, Jonathan Jacob, Stephen Zavasian, Sean Barry, and Chris Huberti are the next riders that we've got up here. I should mention Sean Barry as well. And then with Velocio, Charles McCarthy is back, Dan Cassidy, Kevin Bouchard Hall, Tucker Wetmore. They've had a really enjoyable season of racing. And that, you're mentioning Jack Haig, there's another rider to watch out for here. Tucker Wetmore's had a great season as well, back in now with the ladies. And it looks like we've got a much larger group.
Yeah, it was down to 3. Left. And it looks like the riders who have chosen to bring the Trons to the game today are right back on terms. I'm seeing a comment coming both in from JLC and KK here saying, cheering on Grossman. We'll see if she can time things better here. She's just getting back on turns. Is her heart rate going to be low enough now, sitting in 4th wheel? Because last time through, they get the better of her. Looks like this time around, 11.2 watts per kilogram, but a little bit too late. Going to have to settle for 2nd place as Remian, the startup, takes it down. Nice little kick from her and an early kick, figuring out the new... I think that's pack dynamics. I think that's really new pack dynamics. The jump is rewarded a little bit more from what I'm seeing over and over again today, at least with the smaller pack. In the men's race, it was a little bit different. It looks like a jump from about 300 to 250 is getting rewarded pretty well, but it was a little bit late perhaps from Grossman there as Remian did get enough of a gap to hold her off. She did have a higher watt per kilogram, it looked like, later on. It was coming on with some speed, but good timing there coming from Remian.
Timing is everything in these sprints, that's for sure. And constantly, as the gameplay gets tweaked, the riders are always having to adjust out here. I did learn, Nathan, that the frog thing that we saw earlier today is called Kappa. And I wasn't familiar with
love that. Twitch chat is going to love that. Okay. Go ahead, Dave. Go ahead. I'm going to get, there's two different meanings here because you've got the Japanese character, right? Right. And then Twitch chat has a very different meaning for Kappa actually, which is really, really funny. And I'm wondering if there's like any kind of crossover there that the original Kappa and Twitch chat had something to do with this, because go ahead and tell the history of, now if anybody missed that during the EMEA, there's a little frog-looking creature jumping around toward the top of the climb, jumping around by this fox, and like a stork and something else near the QOM, carrying the mountain. And we were like, what is that thing? Go ahead. What's the history on this guy?
You know what? Unfortunately, I don't really know that much more about it. I mean, apparently, so it's a mythical Japanese creature that supposedly, well, I mean, if you Google it, you can see the first thing that people ask is, do kappas eat humans? So
yeah, so it's a Kawataro or a Kamahiki, a Kawatora, or a Suko is the 4 names that they have for it. I hope none of those names are derogatory or are swears. Yes. And it's an amphibious yokai, demon, or imp found in traditional Japanese folklore is what I'm seeing here. They're typically depicted as green, human-like beings with webbed hands and feet and a turtle-like carapace on their backs is what I'm being told here.
And I'm seeing it isn't originally a Japanese thing, but rather a Slavic thing. And they're terrifying, actually. I mean, when the more you learn about kappas, the less you want to do with them. And it makes me even want, there's a clothing brand, relatively popular clothing brand out of Europe called Kappa. They make a lot of soccer stuff.
Now Twitch chat is loving this because that creates an emote in chat, actually, Kappa does. And it's kind of like, I gotcha. Oh, tricked ya. And it does a little emote face like, haha, It's the perfect face for like smug. It's like a smug face. It's like, we got you. We tricked you kind of a thing. So that's also what Kappa means in Twitch chat, just so everybody knows. Thanks a lot, Locatus, as well as Herb Rolls. Really appreciate you guys jumping on the Twitch chat train there with that. Now, I want to highlight something here. This guy's been on a rampage. Like St. John, and he's not even on a road bike. He's on a gravel bike, smashing it right now.
And, and remembering that Kristen Kolchinski raced on a gravel bike for the entire race and won by, the greatest margin of victory that I know of in the history of ZRL. Premier League ZRL. There have been some, like the Leonard Tugels win, have, approached 1 minute advantage for a solo rider. But she did that entire thing on a gravel bike. And I guess sometimes, in my opinion, it comes down to the engine, the legs, and the head of the racer. Now, you need the right equipment, but you can also spend too much time overthinking this bike choice. I mean, I honestly, choose your bike, race it, see how it goes.
Yeah, and we're actually hearing from Josh Lipka. He's saying, this is interesting, that Jeremy Wade, River Monsters, did an episode on Kappa. Did he include anything about Twitch chat is what I want to know, because that's the only thing I know about Twitch chat. What I'm being told, though, is that we actually have a nerd on our hands, from what I can see here. And how did we get on Kappa? Micah Flanagan is loving the chat here. So jumping across now with the men's race. We have to see it. I'm going to just stay there until it jumps on screen, and I'm going to get a replay of it now at this point. If you haven't found, well, at least find this for you, because there's also, if you didn't know, on Alp the Zwift, there's also oh man, Nathan's memory is completely getting really old at this point.
An abominable
snowman. Thank you very much. Right. I've watched enough. Seriously, Nathan, how do I not know that after watching Monsters as many times as I did with my kids? But anyways, there's a Yeti up on Alp the Zwift that you can find. It's a little bit better Easter egg because it's a lot harder to find. This guy's just jumping around like he wants to attack you as you're trying to hit that king of the mountain.
Oh, apparently they eat humans. So from what I've learned on Google, not that you can count on everything there, but I want nothing to do with these Kappas. So again, you're going to see it up there at the top of the KOM or QOM, whichever it may be. I hope. Derek St. John, you're my hero. The Restart Racer has been phenomenal. And Nathan, this is a huge gap. I'm not surprised that but there go the points, right? That's 10 points for Restart. And as we noted, now it's 10-1. This is going to be the sprint coming behind him. Here goes Tucker Wetmore. Tucker Wetmore has been a very useful rider, but they're going to, they might even, let's watch this one as Chris Uberti getting up there now, as he's going to try to contest for next, but that's going to be dirt alert.
What's amazing to me is these are all gravel bikes contesting it too. I'm not sure anybody up here is even on a Tron or a road. I'm looking through and trying to see the width of these tires, but I'm not sure we have a single rider that has made it. Well, we do have one, it looks like, here from ATP Hydrogen. Is that coming through the pack now?
With the disc?
With that full disc, yeah. There's definitely a full disc there making its way to the front. Cassidy, perhaps, from Velocio.
It's interesting, Nathan, as we've been talking a lot about it. I would say that the Hive think coming out of this group right here, I think these guys know more about the racing, the equipment, and what they're doing. And I would really trust in all honesty, for me, I would make it easy for myself. I wouldn't think for 1 second about what bike to use. And I'd just say, what's Kevin Bouchard Hall using? I'll use that. He's smart enough. He figures everything out. I don't need to reinvent the wheel.
Jumping across now back to the women's race, and I'd agree with that 100%. Rathwell now, though, on the Tron bike, doing what she did last time around, pressing the pace again. This has got to be orders from the team, some sort of strategy they had early on. She continues to do this every time through, so there's something going on here with this plan.
I agree completely. Obviously, Rathwell has been tasked with making this a hard race, and she's done exactly that. And you wonder then, what's the plan after that?
Well, I mean, her first time through.
There is no doubt there is one.
what's happened? It's cut everything down to a third, maybe a fourth of what the pack was originally. Now this time through, there's a fourth. Now they're going to have to cut that in half again, perhaps, is what's going to happen here. And who are they going to end up with is going to be the question.
No criticism here at all, but I don't know. Megan Rathwell, I think that this pack was going to get whittled down to this group one way or another. The racing is just so hard out here your heart has to go out to riders that are struggling, because this course also, it's really easy to get dropped out here. Rachel Lieberman is looking to do that. That's for sure. She's been active, Nathan, as you noted, fantastic time trialist, certainly a breakaway threat. Still probably a little bit early. We've got one more ascent. And again, the QOM line turns into the finish line after, well, it's the finish line right now, as well as you're going to see this looks like a gravel race, to tell you the truth. It looks exactly like the front of a gravel race. Nobody right on the wheel out in real life. A lot of times that's because of shrapnels coming up off of the wheel into your face. But in this case, it's just these big efforts being made. Is this the exact same four that we had earlier up on the front? Lieberman, Rathwell, Larson, and Brady?
Yeah, Remian's just getting dropped a little bit earlier than she did last time around. Fiona now going off the back as well. She is coming back. Interesting enough, and she's going to be really the asset today because she took down some sprint points just now. If she comes over the top here in the top 10 situation, she's going to grab Queen of the Mountain points. This is huge, and it's really her and Rathwell on regular road bike situations. Here comes a steamroller, which is not what Remian wants to see right now, because that was the opportunity to grab a wheel. Now Fiona from Riot now coming over the top, she may be able to grab a wheel here. She's on a grail, Fiona. So now it's about to get a steeper.
Fiona doesn't want to help her up in. Doesn't want to help her get up into the group. Yeah, or maybe just at her limit as well. Rachel Lieberman is really putting her foot on the throat of this race right now. Alana Brady's going to have her day. That's Alana in the white and blue for Toyota Cryo RDT. Right behind her is going to be the Dutch diesel rider Rebecca Larson, and then certainly the woman of the race. Well, I would have to give that credit to Rachel Lieberman as well, but Megan Rathwell for the Riot team. Maybe the plan is for Megan Rathwell to just win this race today, Nathan. She's certainly got great legs.
I would not put it past her one bit. I think this is, as we saw with Kristen yesterday, now we saw earlier today with Emily Watts, now in this situation as well. I think Anna Russell saw an opportunity for one of her pure climbers. I would call Kristen Kolchinski also more of a pure climber as well, loves to hit those slopes. And I think Rathwell is looking to shine out here today on that Tron bike perhaps. And that'd be the only difference, is that yesterday, Kolchinski choosing the gravel bike. Can Rathwell make it happen here on this Tron instead?
Yes, I would say. As you noted earlier, we've seen, actually, it's interesting because in the Premier, we've had a road bike win and a gravel bike win. In community, we've seen some Tron bikes winning. So again, it comes down to the engine, the athlete, the desire, the will. Sure, you want to make the right choice, but I don't think that you just need to be in the ballpark with your choice. And here you go, Megan Rathwell throwing up that steamroller, throwing down. You don't throw a steamroller up, do you? Throwing down the steamroller here.
Looking for some separation. She's going to get the speed through this next section, too. This is really crucial that she gains that speed through this section. Oh, if it would have just lasted a little longer over that 10%, because now those gravel bikes are really going to come back at this point.
Watch that.
She's going to just have to hang on. Here we go. We're going to see if we can find the Kappa, actually, and if it's going to egg her on and tease her as she gets caught by these gravel bikes, actually. Going to be jumping around. She's probably not going to be looking around in the background for any kind of Kappas, but it's going to be looking smug at her right now, just like Twitch chat, as she gets caught by the rest of the riders. And Lana, Brady, and Lieber are really going to be battling out. Larson's not a part of the conversation, but Rathwell might still have a sprint to the line. It'll be interesting to see as they make their way around for this second Queen of the Mountain.
Yeah, this is going to tell us a lot. Alana Brady, I have a feeling, is hungry to pick up these points. And there she goes, Toyota Cryo's Alana Brady here, rolling off of the front. And this does not look like it's going to be contested. We don't need a photo finish camera.
One,
that's going to be Brady,
three.
Lieberman, and Rathwell in that order.
Yep. 100%.
Sounds like a law firm.
Okay, so where is he? There's the Fox. Oh, it's on the other side.
He's,
Sorry, my bad.
This is
it's
his
on the
neighbor.
downhill.
This is where he lives.
It's on the downhill.
Yeah.
It's on the downhill. It's on the other side over here. So we get to hang out with the leaders here.
Looking, it was on the right hand side of the course.
Dave is really in on this now. He's like, okay, everybody, watch. I know I saw this thing.
Well, I know I saw it because I shouted.
Well, there's the fox, and he's going to jump. He's going to jump right across next to that fox in just a moment.
Right here.
Come on, buddy.
Right in here.
Oh, he's not going to show up for us. He's there. We're not hallucinating, everybody. He's a real thing.
Maybe we'll get him next lap. I really wonder how that, because we saw the stork and the fox, but not the kappa.
He's coming. Just a second. He wants to torture Larson. That's what's really going on here. We got to get the right rider that he wants to kind of hang around. I mean, it said he's a mythical
human eater,
demon, human eater. So Larson, Remian, nope. McMaster maybe gonna hit the Easter egg. I mean, I can't believe you spotted him after now Grossman. Maybe it's Grossman. Come on, you got to go plaid, Grossman. Make him pop. Let's go.
Yeah, you don't want to mess with Grossman because Andy the long doggo will protect her. That's for sure. She's got some good sidekicks there in New York.
Everyone's gonna think we're lying now.
I know. I'm really bummed.
There's the wolf. I'm not kidding. He jumps on these rocks.
You can see, this is, what a great world. This is McCurry Islands that we're on here, racing on Countryside. Look how this race is blown to bits, Nathan. The largest group right now might be 4 riders out here on course. I mean, it's just every woman for herself right now.
Yeah, what's going on, Letterer? Close this down, Core AF, because we're not going to be able to see the Kappa now.
Wanted. The Kappa wants them to separate from each other. They're easier to capture.
True.
When they don't have their peloton.
Maybe we'll get it with the boys here, as we got Letterer here from Core AF trying to work with Catherine Monks. Great to see. I love this team. As they make their way around.
Yeah.
Of course. Quick is here as well, working with ATP and some of the DDC riders. Let's jump it over to the boys now as they're making way over the top. And maybe they're going to give us an opportunity with some Kappas here in just a moment. Look at St. John. They're going across next. Cassidy looking to follow. What a move by John to now get this bridge across at this point. Walter Zwart sees that there's an issue, 8 seconds up, but he's leading the charge because Bouchard Hall's not going to chase his teammate down at this point. So Walter said, nope, I'm just going to take the bull by the horns. Gagnon now following as well from restart because they actually have a rider up there, excuse me. So it's really up to ATP. Are they going to all chase, though, you think, here?
This is a really interesting race scenario here. I love this course for what it brings. And right now, this is the wild, wild west.
Look
Derek
at Cassidy.
St. John, most aggressive rider.
Look at what he's on.
Well. Yeah,
Full
I
disc. This is insane. With 3 riders, too. It's not even like there's a large pack. There's not even a large pack to sit in on. This is just mano a mano almost on a road bike. Cassidy is riding out of his skin.
Yeah, I can't imagine what the thought process was to end up on this bike, but he's got the great legs. That's for sure.
Look
is
at the
Chris
pack.
Alberti.
Look at the pack come rolling up. I mean, they are flying, though. That speed that we just saw from them come on through now. Look at this coming in through with Luinstra. On that steepest section, he throws down the steamroller. It's actually right about here. He's about to hit that steepest section. Right here, we'll see that 10%. Then it goes down to a -9 for just a moment. It keeps running out. They timing it just a little bit off because you really want it. Yeah. You want it over the top here, and you want it to just take that speed through with that power up, but it's not going to happen. And now they are going to most likely close this down on him.
Let's see, but he has positioned himself well. I'm not sure exactly how far they are from the next points, but we're seeing some real separation.
There. Look here, right here, Dave. Look on the see right there, right there.
Yeah, there you go. Jonathan Jacob looks like he's going to be in good shape. Then that's going to be Jacob, and then over the top is KBH. Kevin Bouchard Hall is in fuego out here today. Bouchard Hall is going to collect maximum bonification with Jonathan Jacob, and then Craig Luinstra coming through. Andre Gagnon right behind them. So we'll start distributing points. Is they're going to start on the downhill sector. Now, again, it stays dirt, and I don't know that everybody comes back into the group, Nathan. This is a real, when push comes to shove moment out here.
Here's the question: Did he just want to leave the ladies alone and torture the men? That's what's really going on here. So
Alex Gagnon, I apologize. Alexander Gagnon, having
like
a great
canyon,
ride today.
like a canyon. Here we go.
We were saying canyon like a canyon earlier. That's how popular Alexander has become.
Yeah, they named the
rider.
canyon after Alexander Gagnon, actually. So it wasn't the other way around. Walter Zwart now looking to make the chase. As you can see, we're just clicking through because we do want to see the riders, not Kappa at all. Kieran Lewis, the Fox is here as well. What is going on with this Easter egg, Zwift? Come on.
Maybe he only comes out certain times of the day.
You'll have to go back to the EU. You're going to have to go to the EMEA. And it was there, everybody. We're not messing with you. There's literally a little demon frog jumping around in this pond. I'm not kidding.
And not even really that little. I mean, it was kind of human-sized with a frog face, I would say. It wasn't like you didn't need a sharp eye to see it. It was gross.
We've got
this race is super dynamic.
It is. Back to 21st, 22nd. Some of these riders, I mean, once you get out to the 1 minute, it's a little bit too much, but we have seen some pretty big gaps come back on these road bikes. But these are actually gravel. So these riders, Bill V had a solid sprint, though, earlier. He did some work for the dirt team. And now using that stream roller, he probably just collected to see if they can bring back some time on the downhill to the rest of the riders as they make their way around. There's the Wolf.
I'm wondering, is this Bill 4 or Bill IV? Let's just go with Bill, I guess.
He's Bill the Fourth. Bill the Fourth.
Bill the Fourth, right.
He's the fourth Bill.
William the Fourth. But, boy, they're starting to open this up, Nathan. It's getting to be pretty late in the race here as well. 43 kilometers of racing. So they're at about 15.5 K to go.
The fourth. He's letting us know.
There you go.
Oh, Bill's from my home city. What?
What?
No Bill. Way. What is going on here? Bill, you gotta get Bill. Where's the Kappa, Bill? Why didn't you click the Kappa button, Bill? Work harder, buddy, from Oconomowoc.
You're gonna have to go get some pizza with Bill one night.
Yeah, Bella Gusto. We're gonna go down to Bella Gusto. They got some amazing pizza down at Bella Gusto. We're gonna do it.
Is that where your kids?
Oh, we go almost every Friday. Almost every Friday, Saturday, we're at Bella Gusto getting pizza. If you're ever in Oconomowoc, best pizza in the town. Otherwise, Crafty Cow. That's where we took Simon Schofield from Zwiftcast, actually, when he was in town to do episode, I think, around 50 or 60 or so.
Simon made his way to Wisconsin for an episode, huh?
Yeah, he recorded from the laundry room. We're in a very different space now, but when Zwift Racing Esports started out of the laundry room, he came in to show what the setup had looked like.
Really?
We took over the entire upstairs living room now instead, but it definitely was quite an interesting setup. If you want to go check out one of the old Zwiftcast episodes. Okay, this is about as Easter egg as it goes because we've been sitting here for like ever. And it hasn't popped up. There's got to be something that you do to make it pop up. Like, is there like a special A, B, select, start, up, down, left, right, Mike Tyson's punch out?
Sure.
Like, what's going on here?
Yeah, how do you trigger that, right? What gets the
coming for
attention?
you, Billy. These guys are having a lot of fun. I love it. Let's take a look and see if they're crawling their way back here in the women's race, actually, because that's been a part of the story all day long as to whether or not the sprinters will get back on terms. Is Grossman here still? 40 seconds back. Will they close this down? Rathwell Reberman and Alana Brady, some of the strongest women we've seen out of the East, and this is their kind of race. The climbers and the pure TT specialists are here to stay.
Yeah, I'm willing to commit to say that this group does not come back. This is the perfect mix. If they're willing to cooperate in any way, shape, or form, they will be racing for all 3 podium spots out of this group. No doubt in my mind. I will eat my hat if this group gets caught. That you're looking
Dave
at. Dave
doesn't even have a hat on, just so everybody knows. So he just totally threw down chips.
Anyone's hat. No, I won't. But
instead of sending us cookies to compete about what's the best out of Sweden, you need to send Dave a hat that he can eat. Everyone, right. Just so you know.
So Nathan, but I mean, in all honesty, now when you look at this, these are 3 very strong, motivated riders representing the big teams out here. And certainly at this point, you got to be really smart in how you race out of a 3-rider group. This is a great challenge for any racer. You have to learn how to win. We were talking about that with Kristen Kolchinski. It can take a while. Bike racing is a process, and it's not the strongest rider. It's not the smartest rider. It's not the most experienced rider. It's a rider that has a combination of all of that. And there's something about, I think yesterday really showed us, desire, commitment, and you've got to be willing to hurt yourself to make a difference. You've got to be willing to suffer. Bike racing has never been for the weak of heart. It's never going to be easier. Greg LeMond has a great quote about it never gets easier. You just go faster as you spend more and more time in your career, because it's never going to be easy. And the woman that wins this race today, she will have really earned it. This was a quantum leap to get into this group. And now you're going to have to be a superstar to win here. I don't know how you break the will of a rider like Alana Brady or Rachel Lieberman or Megan Rathwell. And these are the 3 that we're looking at. This is really a beautiful, beautiful moment if you love bike racing, as they're down to less than 8K of racing here. Who's it going to be, Nathan? Who's going to pull it out?
So I think what's going to happen, who do you think that Rathwell contends to sprint? Being on the, I mean, it's free points almost for her, I would think, being on the Tron bike.
So there's an element here now with.
Or does she counter instead? Let them go for it and then counter.
I tell you what, if you get dealt a steamroller, you're going to be extremely happy if you've got that power up at your disposal. If you've got a draft,
probably all
that's
she
going to
cares
be
about right
close
now
to useless.
is whether or not she gets that steamroller.
Right. I mean, that's going to be the difference, to tell you the truth. If you don't have the steamroller, you're behind the 8 ball. You know what I mean? Like you're starting from a little deficit rather than. And Megan Rathwell has been irrepressible.
5 meters.
Today. This could
5 meters.
This could be a breakthrough ride for Rathwell today. If she can win out of this break.
She's testing them. She just got outside of 5 meters at 4 watts per kilogram, forced them to close it down. I mean, that was a test.
This is a pick'em. This is a pick'em, Nathan. I mean, there is no way, and you know me, I'm pretty willing to make a call, right? I'm not afraid of making that pick. Well, I don't see any way that I could say one of these riders has an advantage over the others. Any one of these 3 could absolutely win.
If it comes down to 3, I'm throwing on my money goes on Brady.
Won't, though. Yeah, no, and I'm with you. I agree.
Rathwell's easily going to take this. Oh man, jumps him. And with that Tron bike, it should just be a roll now at this point after that kick. Lieberman's going to take the second points. That's big. That's good points. That's 10 points on the board for Rathwell now. Getting a little separation, perhaps. I would just jump right on Lieberman's wheel and maybe even counter the second it goes uphill being on a Tron, because they're going to be riding through sludge. Can they even hang onto the wheel is going to be the question. There's points behind here still, Dave. Still some points behind.
A lot of points. And let's remember, so you get into that mindset of talking about the race win, but in reality, this is a team sport, and these points are absolutely critical in that. And they score 10 deep. So that's going to be 2 in the top 4.
It took her 3 times around, but she gets it from the pack here, Dave. It looked like she got the jump this time where Remian got her last time, Dave.
Yeah, well, and Christina Grossman is a real fighter, no doubt about it. That kid's got heart, and Riot is going to be, happy as they, right now, should have had more points collected from that last sprint. This is going to be Fiona Gallagher, the Irish rider on Riot, who is up there as well. So, Riot in good shape in the big picture. This is chase 1 that we're looking at right now, as it is Rathwell, Brady, and Lieberman off of the front. How about Hardage today? Starting to see some breakthrough rides. We talked about Sarah McMaster as well back in that group here. You can see the Canadian McMaster tucked right into the sweet spot.
Hardage is on a road bike too. She's in 4th place currently on a road bike, not even a Tron bike. So solid ride.
I think now if you have the Tron bike, that would be the choice. Next choice would be gravel bike, then road bike, and then I would end up with that disc wheel.
Nobody puts KG in a corner. We're hearing from Kolchinsky now, over having a little bit of fun in chat here, as well as Lipka cheering their awesome friend that makes things plaid out there. Always good fun to see friends cheering on people in
They
chat.
are a supportive group. That's what they've got going on there. Josh Lipka is the coach of Christina Grossman and Kristen Kolchinsky. And actually, I'm sure he'd be happy to be your coach too. Josh has really, really understood esports and a tremendous job. When you look at the relationship between a coach and an athlete, there's so much trust there. And I mean, Nathan, I think you coach athletes yourself. And when you see them follow the process, make the right decisions, check all the boxes, and show patience and hard work, and then get their result, that's the process, baby. That's the process. And so few people are able to fully commit to that. And that's what an elite athlete has to do to remain. You can have some flashes of brilliance, but to remain consistently successful in a sport like cycling, you really do have to just fully commit and to choose the coach for you. I think a coach is a lot like a bike shop. You'll know when it's the right fit for you. Not every coach, or maybe like a psychoanalyst or whatever. You'll just be able to figure out when you're with the right person for you. I think bike shops are really that way as well. You can feel uncomfortable in the wrong bike shop, or maybe like a hair salon. Not that I would know, but a hair salon might be something that, you feel like.
Yeah,
oh, if you leave
right? looking like an idiot, I mean, you're in the wrong place, right? So
if you leave looking like me, you're not in the right hair salon.
I came for a haircut. I've got nothing on my head. I don't think you
What
did
happened?
It right. What's going on here?
I didn't need a scorched earth policy. Yeah, so
we missed that sprint. Apologies, everybody. Bouchard Hall now going to be taking out the field sprint. There are 3 off the front. Interesting enough, Lewinstra, Cassidy, and Gagnon. Gagnon, like a canyon, though, on the gravel. And this was their setup here. Lewinstra and Cassidy, are they both? No, excuse me.
This is very similar to the
It's
women's
actually
race.
Going to be Cassidy. This was the 3 that we saw go, and Cassidy being on that canyon now, just like in the women's race, because there's 3 off the front in the women's race. Rathwell giving a go here. The second they're going to hit the climb, is Cassidy going to break away and get a big enough gap before they hit the dirt to win the race outright? We'll have to wait and see.
These guys,
that's exactly what we just saw Rathwell do.
It's interesting. We've talked about that element of you get 2 dogs fighting for a bone and a third comes and takes it. Do you think that the next Velocio battle is allowing these 3 to maybe slip away and take the race win
Dave,
today?
Are you going to eat your hat, Dave? Because she's got 16 seconds, Dave, and I think she's been practicing. I don't know.
No, I said that these 3 won't get caught. So
I
she's
know,
not getting
but
caught.
What do you think is going to happen when she hits the dirt is my question, with a 20-second gap.
Well, eating a hat is not in jeopardy here, because that statement was about the fact that
I
these
can't remember
3
what
won't
you
get
said
caught.
earlier.
Right.
What did you say earlier about
so-
no bike swap happening? There was something said. I can't remember exactly what it was, but
again, I'm recommending 100% that you not swap bikes. If you're right now on a Tron bike and you've got a, what are we calling this advantage? 20 seconds?
20 seconds, 21?
Stick with what got you here. She's not changing bikes. If she does, I will be stunned.
If I were her
I
at
would
this point and
highly
I'd
recommend you not
practiced
do it.
if she practiced it, I'd be on that gravel bike so quick. I'd be swapping it. 23 seconds. I have an athlete that I coached yesterday. He had 5 seconds, and he beat the guy he swapped with. Right when I hit the. Well, actually, maybe when it goes uphill a little bit. I'd carry my speed, and the second it hit like any kind of uphill, boom, I'd swap right at that point, probably.
On the gravel. So once we leave this time, so we are right now.
Here we are. We're going to see.
3K from the finish.
Now, this
She's
is
not gonna do
huge
it.
pressure. It's going to be huge pressure. Because, I mean, think about it. Like, you just did 26 seconds. Don't mess around with clicking.
She's almost guaranteed. If her check engine light is not on right now, there is absolutely no reason to change bikes. Why risk it? Why would you? And she's not changing bikes. She's showing sanity.
Oh, man. Rathwell. Dang it. No,
Megan,
bike change.
you are. Megan, I greatly appreciate your higher level of intelligence.
If she loses
if she gets
to
off
these
her bike
gravels
right now,
I'm gonna totally be like, Should have done it, bike swap. And here comes Brady. Here comes 5.4. They're not even on the dirt yet, actually. I think she will be able to stay away.
That's what 20
perhaps.
seconds looks like.
Yeah.
So you understand my risk reward thought, right? I mean, with a 20-second advantage, she's got a 90% chance of winning this race.
I could do it in 10 seconds. That's the thing. It would increase my chances. I don't know. I thought maybe Anna would have thrown her a script or something and be like, "Here, this is how you boom, just push this button."
Megan, follow your heart.
So Josh Lipka's saying gravel bike 20 seconds advantage on the gravel at 5 watts. If you have more than that, keep going. Good call there. Good call there, Josh. And Josh is the man that you want to go to.
She's sitting at 6 watts. So
yeah, and he's the guy you go to for spreadsheets. I think they're going to close this down and actually win the race against her. I think. Sorry, Megan, not sure, but I think Alana Brady's just got the kick, and I think the gravel bike's going to outdo it. Look at how quickly 10 seconds just came down in less than half a K.
Well, Brady at 21 seconds back, right now.
It was 30 though, like less than 30 seconds ago.
And she's got 2K left. So Alana Brady's going to have to bring back 10 seconds a K. That is a huge ask. Huge ask.
Lieberman's getting dropped. Now another 2 seconds just came back. We were just only talking for 10. We'll see. Lana's got 5.7 to give, though.
But also, if you're Megan Raftwell, you have the ability of feathering this. You can save up a kick, and when she gets to 5 seconds, you can accept. Well, if you have the ability to.
Now the question is, does she have a steamroller? Does she have a steamroller? If she's got a steamroller, Gallopin might be
or a feather. A feather on that 9% grade is not useless. That's for sure. She must have a steamroller.
We've got a lot of people cheering on Megan here at this point now. We've got Gina Van Rossington.
Well, that's a good look.
Michael Templeton, she should have changed. We're seeing from Michael Templeton, though. Anna Rustin says she loves Tron. Anna's already said what's happening here. I think Anna was trying to convince her to make the change, though. I have a feeling she loves the bike swap, I think. But it's not going to be happening, it looks like, from the DS herself, Anna Russell. 11 seconds. If she's got the steamroller, this is still very much doable. 10 seconds.
Oh, it's still doable. Even if she had an anchor, she's still going to win this race. I really believe Megan Raftwell's got this.
I think when we hit that, from what I've seen all day long, at that 10% gradient uphill and that downhill, the gravel just, whoom! You're going to watch the speed just pick up from Alana Brady, and she'll shut down 5 seconds in like 200 meters in just a moment.
All right, we're at 1.3K to go now. The gap at, well, Brady, you might be right, Nathan. Brady is coming quickly. So, yeah, it looks like at about 1K, Brady is right there. This is where I was thinking Megan Raftwell might have a little bit more to give. If she's got that steamroller, use it now.
I think it's going to be all about that steamroller.
Looks like you're going to get this one.
She's going to hang on to that wheel here. And hopefully we'll see if this ends up. Oh, it's a drafting power up. It's a drafting power up. Watch, 12% gradient. Watch how fast. Now 6%.
Wow, I was wrong.
Gone.
Alana Brady.
Gone. Whew.
You nailed it, Nathan. You definitely nailed it. The difference that this gravel bike has on the climb, even I'll admit, I underestimated that. And Alana Brady has a tremendous amount of heart as well. That was an exceptional ride by Brady right now. My heart goes out to Megan Raftwell. Even with the steamroller, doesn't look like it would have been enough, though. Brady's just on a roll right now. I really thought Megan Raftwell was in great shape there.
Really looking strong, Brady here, heading her way toward the Queen.
That was a big one for Alana Brady.
It is. It really is, actually, for Cryogen Gallopin as well, to really end this season this way. Really awesome to see. And huge, huge effort here. You know, Riot has really taken the show most of the time through here. And now this is for the time for Brady and Gallopin to really, really shine now.
Well, and part of being present is willing to admit you're wrong. And you start to wonder, had she made that bike change?
Oh, she had it. She had it
in the bag. Would it have been the difference?
She had it in the bag. Oh, 100%. I think
if she could make the change in less than 10 seconds,
I even think if it took her 15 and she held on to 5, it would still be maybe even worth it at that point. A little more difficult, but she's only 7 seconds back at this point. She would have increased her gap, I think, because she was putting out more watts per kilogram for most of the duration there.
Yeah, that's interesting. Well, what a crazy day it has been out on McCurry Islands, that's for sure. Alana Brady's going to take a lot of confidence out of this season-ending win here, as Toyota Cryo has got a real talent. Gets so steep right here. Gravel bike, she ought to be adding a few more seconds now. And this is a done deal at this point.
Yeah,
Alana Brady with the command performance. Yeah, this is it. So Lieberman should hold on for third now. Is that
look at the difference here? 12 kilometers per hour. She was doing almost 20 over the top of here. She hit almost 30 at this point right here. I mean, it's just such a difference.
Does Megan Rathwell need to worry about getting caught by Lieberman now?
I don't think so. I think she's got plenty of room here for Lieberman. I mean, Lieberman will close it down to 5 maybe because of those speed differentiations, but it's right in front of him at this point. And I mean, to put a little bit more salt in the wound, she actually had a steamroller.
Yeah. Wow. And never even had to use it. So this is going to be your win here for Alana Brady. We still will be looking at the points to see which team ends up with the highest tally. These points from Megan Rathwell will be very important. She'll get 40 points for second here. So even though she doesn't win the race, Megan Rathwell had a huge impact out here today. Riot for second, and ATP, Rachel Lieberman out of Seattle will come through for the bronze medal.
Nice little battle here coming on in for that 4th place. Lieberman just crossed the line. Let's jump back over to the men. They are about, 2K, I think, from the finish here, and they do have 2 off the front. Cassidy was unable to hold on to the wheel. It's Gagnon and Luinstra. That was the 3, but they were on those gravel bikes, and Cassidy gets dropped.
Alexander Gagnon, Craig Luinstra going to be racing for the win, it looks like. They're down to 700 meters to go here. So taking a look at that gap at Cassidy at 19 seconds, it looks like these guys are both using their power up here. The steamroller looks like they're in pretty good shape here. 2-man battle, mano a mano, going
that
to the
final
line
kick
here
too. Right here, that really steep section, just about to hit. There
what do you think about using their steamrollers right there? Seems like
they're
that was a little early.
They're just not timing it quite right. It's just not. Well, maybe they did get it right this time. Right.
Looks like they did.
Just barely. It was actually Gagnon who got it perfect.
Oh, they got it perfect. Yeah,
right
actually,
through there,
that was ideal.
32, they got up over 30 kilometers per hour. That's about what you want to see. Maybe just a tad later to go through that rolling section with the speed, but solid there from these two.
I'll give them
head to head.
I'll give them an A for that.
Yeah, maybe not an A+, well done. But they get an A.
Alexander Gagnon, the rider here for Restart on the front in green with the orange cap, but then Craig Luinstra, the yellow and black jersey, and it looks like Alexander's
12 watts per kilogram.
Get it, or does he?
Right at the line, he got him. Oh. He got him there. Nice job to Gagnon there, holding on. Bashard Hall now battling here. Uberti's going to take this down. It looks like he's got the 1 second gap, but there's steamrollers. And Uberti doesn't have it. The speed might be insane actually trying to bring him back. And I think they're going to nip him at the line pretty easily with those steamrollers. Just see how powerful that is as they come through. Uberti unable, and he just holds off Bashard Hall. Nice job there from Uberti, timing it well, and they actually take it down for next year. Gumbel trying to take down Royal City. Zwart now, next one across. St. John, Haney here as well from HTFU. And then Kronert, Cassidy. Look at Cassidy on that bike. Goes all the way back to 13th. He was in it for the win. It goes all the way back. I'm really rubbing it in now.
All things considered, that's a heck of a ride. Yeah.
It is. It is a huge ride. Huge ride.
Now, this was quite a day out here, and I do want to commend all of the teams. It has been really, this group right here encapsulates what's right about sport, what's the camaraderie that you see not only on the teams but inter-team, the fun that they've been having, whether it's Royal City or the Restart team, certainly Next, Zed Sun, all of these teams along with Velocio have made this a tremendous season.
Stay right there,
you brought
Jacob.
out the best in each other.
Don't move.
Stay right there.
Don't move, Gagnon. Stay right there.
Yeah,
what? No cool down. You just see these guys are listening.
See, I feel like this is our Snuffleupagus moment. I don't know if you remember Snuffleupagus from from Sesame Street, but it's like only Big Bird would see him.
Of course I remember Snuffleupagus, 100%.
So I feel like only you and I are going to see Kappa.
Gumbel's helping us out. He's looking for him. Come on. You kidding me?
Maybe it must sleep is my thing. It's an amphibian.
It went to sleep. We'll see if we can find him as we go to the results, everybody. It's been a lot of fun.
I wonder what time is it in Japan?
Well, speaking of time, we do have another stream here in a little less than an hour. So we're going to have to take a look at our results here, and then we're going to be heading into the West. It's going to be myself and Dave again on the Zwift Racing League Season 8 for West's final. Let's go ahead and see what we got going on for results as well as the standings after race number 8. We just watched the A, man. We'll also go through the B's and the C's and the D's. We may need to jump on over to the C's and D's first, as they had a little bit shorter race out there today. Amongst the ladies, though, Dave, it's going to be a lot of Brady.
Do I have to eat a hat?
I think
Do I have to eat a hat?
I think they're talking about hats. Everybody's saying that hats, something about hats. I think it's decided.
Alana Brady, congratulations, Alana. You really earned that one. I can only imagine how much work you've done to get to that point, as that's a gold medal for you, Alana. Megan Rathwell, certainly an animator, one of our most aggressive riders all season long for Riot, ends up with the silver. And Rachel Lieberman takes the bronze. Great day for ATP Racing Stingers. Jim Withers and that ATP team are just good folks. And Kinsey Remian is a breakthrough rider this season. She'll end up in 4th. Rebecca Larson, the Dutch diesel rider, has her teammate right behind her. So Rebecca for 5th, Sarah McMaster for 6th. Natalie Champagne for Aggo Wattage in 7th. Robin Hardage in 8th for Sisu Du. Inside out is Paulina Allen in 9th. And then Christina Grossman holds on for a very respectable top 10 today after contesting for all of those bonus points, the preem sprint points out there. And you can see how efficient Grossman is. Boy, has she learned how to race on Zwift. 3.7 watts per kilo. Just about everyone else is up in the 4s. So that speaks to ability, that's for sure, knowing how the game is played. That's your A's. Back to you, Nathan. I guess the women's B's are probably still racing.
They're just getting across the line here, so we'll head on over to the C's here real quick at 53 minutes. It's going to be Lauren Kopic there for ATP Racing High. Jillian Howland, good to see Jillian out there. 5 seconds back. That's quite the result there for Jillian, so solid ride. Netta Voigt there coming on through for WTRL drafting Dyno C1, followed up by Ann Visit for the Leigh Watts sisters. And then we do see it is going to be Maggie Carden for WTRL drafting Dyno C1, Kelsey Ritter for the herd of Marine Otters, and then Bridget Brown for the herd of Marine Otters, Paige Michael for ATP Racing Hive, Natalia Gagnon, they're coming on through for Leigh Watts sisters, and Dawn Forbes for the No Drama Llamas, a familiar name to us.
Yeah. Let's take a look now. Oh, boy. You have to help me with that flag, Nathan. Molly Kripe for Revo Kit Kats in our women's D's, taking the win. Jamie Bramwell, herd of Blazing Bobcats, in for 2nd in the silver, and Sarah Dow in 3rd for Rave Party. Then you've got 4th place going to Jocelyn Garner from La Maste. I should mention herd of Blazing Bobcats for Jamie Bramwell there. It is so Lama stays Jocelyn Garner in 4th. Michelle Sauter for 5th. She's another one of the Blazing Bobcats. Vibe Energy for Marie-Helene Sousset in 6th. Candice Ramdial in 7th for WTRL drafting Dinos D1. Erin McGlanagan in 8th for La Maste. WTRL drafting Dinos D2 has Deborah Lee in 9th. And then Katie Coe, Rave Party rider, rounds out your top 10 for the women's Ds.
Molly Kripe must be fairly technical because her country is Zwifterland. Just so everybody knows, that is the flag of Zwifterland. I don't know if she changed it over on her Zwift profile, but I don't know. Like, it says Zwifterland. Okay. That's probably some other country
It's not
flag.
a flag I've seen anywhere else.
That's not a country flag I know
African.
of. Yeah, it does look African, but Molly Kripe, according to her Zwift Power, is from Zwifterland. Just so everybody knows. That's probably her country flag, and she just put Zwifterland in her profile, actually, is what actually happened there. So I'm just kidding everybody.
It's Zimbabwe.
Zimbabwe. Thank you. But I'm glad that Molly actually resides mainly in the land of Zwift. This is going to be Shannon Kane here for WTRL Drafting Dinos. Shannon Kaplan in second there for CCRI Freya. Katie Candeloro there for Herd of Butterflies. Marie Helene Poirier in the Bees for America's East Div 1 is going to be taking it down for fourth and for the Watt sister. Stephanie Clark as they just come across the line. ATP Racing Honey Bees there for fifth. Megan James in for CCRI Race Like a Girl Freya. Sixth place, it's going to be Heather Brummer for Coalition Infinity. Joey Lithgow for Fearless Furiosas. Christina Pyers for the Cryogen Marie Blanc. And Marie-José Levesque for the Egowatt Queen Bees. In the men's race, Alexander Gagne there, Dave, taking it down. Gagnon. Like a canyon.
Like a canyon in full effect. Alexander, that was impressive. The Canadians really had their day today as Craig Lewinstra for Royal City Cycling MA1 ending up with the silver. It was Restarts Gagnon for the win. Next, and Jonathan Jacob end up with third. KBH, Kevin Bouchard Hall in fourth place today. Chris Uberti. Look at this. Next, then Velocio. Next, then Velocio. Then next. So that's been all season long. Uberti for fifth. Tucker Wetmore for Velocio ends up in sixth. Tony Gumbel, seventh place today for next. Jacob Jamnicki, the Canadian, for Royal City in eighth. Royal City had a great day today. ATP Racing Hydrogen in ninth with Wouter Zwart, and Mitchell Kilborn of HTFU rounds out our top 10. I wonder what HTFU stands for.
Well, I mean, Rule 5. Haven't you ever read the rules? Okay. Just making sure you've read the rules. That's all. Just making sure you've read the rules. All right. James Edwards here. Cryogen at the top of the C's. We'll get back to the B's as more come across the line here. Cryogen Matt Duchato coming on through for James Edwards. Taking it down. Daniel Frizina, ATP Racing Freon there for second there. Flavian Heralt there for Cyclovino Le Watts Brothers, JCQC. Ryan Howard there for BPCC Apogee. It's going to be Timothy Watkins for Herd Mentality. Edward Santon there for ATP Racing Freon. Brett Elder in seventh place for ODZC Monsters. Brad Van Oosten for the RR Nuclear Rhinos. Ed Lammy for the Nuclear Rhinos as well. And Howie Snyder rounding out your top 10 in the B's there for America's East Div 1 mixed. And Jeremy A at the top there for the D's.
So, yeah, thanks, Nathan. Jeremy A for ATP Racing Helium ends up with the win, and solo win at that, as that's going to be Rick Todd of TFC Dynamite. There's that Zimbabwe flag, or Zwiftland flag again. Then we've got Deb Zalisco in our mixed men's category. The women have been phenomenal, and we're starting to see more and more of this. Deb not only racing with the men, and Zed Sun Bums ends up with third today. Ooh la la. Jeremy Lohman, Team Type 1 Beta Cells in fourth. Paul Himes in fifth for ATP Racing Helium. Pierre Chasson in sixth for the Lewatt Brothers. Nathan Weiss in seventh for RR Rocket Rhinos. It's Herd of Plowing Percheron and Tim Baines in eighth. Potato Chaser. Zedson R. Bums Rider in ninth. And it's going to be Frederick Aubry for the Lewatt Brothers. That's a Quebec-based team. The brothers and sisters up there doing a great job. And 10th place today for Frederick. That's the men's D's.
Just want to highlight here real quickly. Shout out to A. Fuller from the Dirt Alert. Did he just get off his bike? And is he a triathlete?
How do you do that?
He just got off his bike.
He's going to go for a run.
He's going to go for a run
race
now.
you know what he's doing? He's looking for the Kappa for us.
He's going to run over there. Yeah. And did you know there's a secret path on the right here? The real Easter egg is I'm actually just hanging out here with Fuller right now. You got to run a little further, Fuller. We need you to run a little bit. No, don't bend. What are you doing? Get moving.
No stretching. We don't need
no stretching. We need you to go find the Kappa. Yeah. We need you to go find the Kappa, Fuller. In with the B's.
One job.
Adam one job, Fuller. He did it. He started running. He actually listened to us, everybody. There he is.
Okay, that's hysterical.
Thank you so much, Fuller. Go get the Kappa. So Kappa's in chat, everybody.
He's trying to lure the Kappa out because he heard they eat humans and he knows he's fast, so he's going to run by. This is right where the Kappa lives. So I have a bad feeling we're not going to see it ever again.
I've been sitting here this entire time, and it hasn't showed up. Take it away for the bees here, Dave.
Adam Voss for Zed Sunset in the top spot. That's your gold standard. Way to go, Adam, in our men's Bs. Ned Bowen for Draft B taking second. Americans had a nice day today as Jordan Bergman in third for KRT. Get it nailed. Zed Sunset with Matthew Mihalka for fourth. Evan Flatter in fifth. I'm going to go with Flater in fifth for On the Rivet Oost B. It's the ZHQ Rockets B team and Bruce Wayman. Good job, Bruce. Ending up in sixth today. Chris Carvalho, big fan of Chris in Draft B. He ends up in seventh. Jeremy Cohen for eighth for Royal City Cycling. His teammate Chris Pignanelli in ninth. And then Chris Michalek for On the Rivet Oost B in 10th. That's your men's Bs. 8th race of the season. Obviously, some very excited teams to be advancing into our playoffs coming up next week, November 23rd and December 4th. Here's how it looks now after 8 races, and Riot will take the regular season title. Dutch Diesel for second.
Go ahead, Dave. Sorry.
Go ahead, Nathan.
Okay,
my bad.
Right here, followed up by Dutch Diesel Cycling Atomic Spice there, and then it's going to be Cryogen. Those will be your 3 coming through for the playoffs. Then it's going to be ATP Racing Stingers there, Eagle Wattage, Plush FA. That's your 4th, 5th, and 6th. Inside Out is really tight racing action between Eagle Wattage and Plush FA. Inside Out now coming on through for 7th there, Core AF. Tied actually with Sisu Du, but they'll take it down, being probably the top ranked on the final race. And Royal City Cycling WA coming on through. We're just going to do the standings for these A's here as we got to head out for our next broadcast starting in about 45 minutes from now. And let's go ahead and update. This is after 7, and after the racing today, it's still Velocio on the top, Dave.
And, it's worth noting that Next Level, they've already got a team in the Premier League. They won the Premier League. They won every race in the Premier League, and you can't have 2 teams. So I wonder what happens with that. Do they go into the playoffs
they probably decline, I think. I would think.
Well, I can't imagine why you'd go into the playoffs if you can't advance. Give the other, I don't know on that one. That's an interesting scenario for sure. But Velocio takes the season, and this was a hard fought. As a matter of fact, this would go down as the premier season, I would say, of the 4 that we've had so far. It's been absolutely awesome to watching the back and forth between Velocio, Next Level, Royal City, and Plush. But it is Velocio with 159 that will win the regular season. Next Level in at second with 152. Then you've got Royal City in third, Plush for 4th, Restart 5th, Third Alert 6th, Velocio Trail Mesh in 7th, ATP Racing Hydrogen 8th, HTFU 9th, and then ZTBR Guarani. That's your top 10 for the men's A's. Great season.
Amazing season. Great job to everybody that's going to make it to playoffs. We'll see you there on Tuesday for the team time trial. And then on next Saturday, the 4th, will be in for the points race on the Innsbruck KOM after party. Man, I've been just messing around here looking for that Kappa. All right, everybody, appreciate it. I'm not kidding. I'm going to find him. He might not be in the event, maybe, but he was in the event. I don't get it.
He was early. Yeah, that's right. Last point, Nathan. I think it really speaks to mindset. Like, I'm an old school bike racing person. You are much more involved in the technology and all of that. And I really think that showed today in my resistance. Like everything we do, I'm resistant to change, right? And and you could see that I was wrong today. Megan Rathwell probably should have changed bikes to the gravel bike there, and maybe that would have been the difference. So sometimes I feel like I'm an old Belgian sport director getting outthought by. If you want to go play some Apex, we can work on it. We just got to play some Apex. I might be playing a little Hearthstone after this, so we can work. We'll work on it. We'll do some gamification here. What you got to do is ride Zwift and Overwatch at the same time. I actually had my largest concurrent viewership on Twitch. I got rated, I think, by Tim the Tatman came and watched me for a few minutes, and his whole stream came in. It was like 15,000 people. Like, what is this guy doing, riding this bike and playing Overwatch at the same time? So we can work on that, Dave. We'll just have to get you set up with an Overwatch setup, and you can just play Mercy, because you just need to play Mercy. Just heal me, and I'll go kill everybody. So I think I'll start by playing Pac-Man.
Pac-Man. Or are we going to go back to Pong? Are we going to Pong? I don't know.
Pong. That might be, yeah, let's go back to the roots. Hey, everybody, it's been a great season. Thanks so much. We'll be back in a few minutes. Time to just grab another fresh water bottle, and we'll be back.
All right, thanks, everybody. Head over to WTRL for all the rest of the results. As always, right on.